Bringing us on camera, GM. He said simply that Malik was our guy. He's a guy we targeted. Dave, before you get it popping, man, I'm just going to quickly say I think they made the right decision. For the last, I think, 3 days, I was saying, don't draft a quarterback at 6. I wanted them to draft a quarterback like Michael Penix, thinking he would go later, but don't draft a quarterback at 6. I think Malik Nabers and Marvin Harrison Jr., the two safest bets in this draft to be perennial Pro Bowl, all-pro caliber talents. I loved that the Giants got Nabers. Daniel Jones plus Nabers, in my mind, is greater than Penix plus question mark. So I loved it. But, Dave, was it a mistake for the Giants to pass on a QB?
It feels good to agree with you about something today, because, no, I don't think it was a mistake. And I don't think it's fair to say that they passed on a QB. I mean, strictly speaking, they did. But you got to think about the way NFL teams evaluate this stuff. The Giants probably had draftable grades at the top of the draft for 1, maybe 2 quarterbacks. And to hear it from the reports, the Giants tried to go get Drake May. The Giants were interested in trading up to 3 to take Drake May, and New England told them to kick rocks. And I appreciate that rather than force it and draft a guy that maybe they didn't feel as good about, they said, you know what, we're going to take one of these 3 dogs at receiver. We're going to establish our offense because, look, the cupboard looks awfully bare at the skill positions. At least it did. I love it because you don't need to force this. Daniel Jones is on this team for another year, whether you like it or not. You gave him that contract. It was a mistake then. It's a mistake now. You get out of it next year. They have Drew Lock. I think people forget about that as well. Drew Lock did some good things for Seattle last year. Joy, I'm not trying to tell you he's like a Pro Bowler, but you can do stuff with these guys, especially you have Malik Nabers. They have 2 more opportunities to add talent here on Friday night. And you go forward into the future, you don't have to force this. That's how you make a mistake. When you get enamored with the idea of answering that question, you can draft the wrong guy. They tried Drake May. I applaud them for that. It didn't work. They pivoted. I think that's the way you're supposed to do it.
I think Malik is an incredible player.
Of course he is. He went to
LSU.
LSU.
He will be a better player when he has a quarterback that can throw the ball to him. Because in order for him to be a good player, he has to have the ball thrown to him.
True.
That's how that position works.
Yes.
Specifically. So, who has the worst roster in the division?
Toss up.
I'd say the Giants.
Toss up?
I'd say the Giants.
Toss up?
Offensive roster Giants. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's an offensive league. And so they have the worst roster in the division. I don't hate the pick because I think he is a great player and will be a great player. They are the worst team in the division, and they're not going to compete for the division. Right? Anyone willing to bet that right now?
Not at all.
Okay, all of us are gamblers. No one's betting that. Will they be the 3rd best team in the division?
Probably not.
So
I'm high on the Commanders right now. Just throwing that out there.
As am I. So the way that I'm looking at it is they have a really great player on a barren roster. They have a quarterback that none of us take seriously, and so.
Okay, well, let me ask you this, Joy, because if everything you're saying is true, you added Malik Nabers, who we all love.
Right.
And if you stink, you'll be back in this situation next year without Daniel Jones's contract on your books, making life tougher on you.
How good, bad are you going to be? Are you going to be picking in the same spot?
Maybe you got enough money to go buy a Dak Prescott or something. I mean, there's any number of ways you can answer these questions.
I don't think it's a mistake because I think he's that good of a player. So I can't say mistake because that would be disingenuous. But they don't have a quarterback that I think can compete in a division with the Eagles and Jalen Hurts, who I think will not be as bad as he was last year. Dak Prescott, who was an all-pro, hard to do, runner-up to MVP, and we know their roster is still going to be good. And I really like the moves that Washington made. So what do I say about the Giants this year?
But had you acquired Penix, had you acquired JJ, had you acquired Nix, I think we'd be saying the same thing.
I wouldn't.
Because JJ and Bo Nix, in my mind, they're not that good, with all due respect. And they're not first-round top 6 overall good. And then Penix, he got injury questions. So for the talent questions of JJ and Bo, Penix got the injury questions 2-5. So where do you stand?
Before I go, what questions does Daniel Jones have? So if there's other guys that we don't know what they're like in the NFL, right, and rookies, what's his question mark? What's
ceiling?
Can't stay healthy.
Listen, man, I get it. It's a great pick because he's a great wide receiver, right? But who's throwing the ball? Like Daniel Jones is awful, though. He's not good. So we're just going to keep playing this game? We'll just get great players with a bad quarterback? Because how's that going to work out?
What was the alternative?
Draft a quarterback.
Which one? Because they did try. So the alternative,
No, they didn't try. They didn't. What do you mean try?
They tried to trade.
Trade up. Okay, but you're still sat where you sat and still had an opportunity to take all three of those guys.
But my thing is, like, you could have tried to trade up to get him.
They tried.
Right? Okay, you could have tried harder. Gave up more. No, seriously, you gave up more.
I mean, that's valid.
Listen,
you can always pay more.
I watched.
It's true.
I remember when Sammy Watkins, when I was in Buffalo, and I got there, I said, yo, why'd y'all go so crazy to get Sammy Watkins? You know what they said? We wanted him. That's an easy answer. It's so simple. If you want somebody, go get him.
But here's my problem is, and again, I'm too much of a college football nerd because when I leave these shows on Fridays, I go and I do a 12-hour show on Saturdays. McCarthy, Bo Nix are not 6 overall picks. I do not even think they are improvements on Daniel Jones. They're just, based on their college tape, they simply are not. Michael Penix, I do believe he is an improvement. But the dilemma with Michael Penix is he tore his ACL twice, he broke his clavicle, and he had an AC joint. So you're going to trade on Daniel Jones, who be injury prone, for another quarterback who's injury prone.
But you didn't need a trade, though. You didn't need a trade at that position.
Trade, meaning trade out. Meaning trade out. Like you're going to get rid of DJ.
You could have sat at that position and taken any of those 3 picks.
But
He's talking about trading a hurt dude for another dude.
Like,
but my thing is, even with him getting hurt, he balls out, though. Penix.
What is the upside to possibility over known?
In my mind, there is JJ. I'm taking personally, I'm taking JJ and Bo off the board.
I'm not devaluing your evaluation or anyone else's evaluation of these players. But Brock Purdy was the last pick in the draft. Like there are exceptions to this rule. Dak Prescott was not a first overall pick.
Correct.
Russell Wilson wasn't in the top 10.
Doesn't that suggest the inverse? Because the reason I would suggest, and I love Brock Purdy, I would suggest Brock Purdy had so much help and Brock Purdy had so much success and Jalen Hurts had so much success and Dak Prescott had so much success is because they had a crazy talented roster.
In respects to we are doing our evaluations and some of them will be right and some of them will be wrong. And that's really what the draft is.
Yes.
That's all it is. Like, we literally don't know. When we guess right, we're like, see how good we are? And when we guess wrong, we're like,
don't pull that clip up. Don't
worry about that. We don't know. Like, we're doing our best, and sometimes we're right, and then sometimes we're wrong, and it's almost equal in both, or more wrong in every single draft. So my point is, to Shady's point, what are the questions with Daniel Jones? Because he's going to be gone. So are you counting on Daniel Jones being kind of okay this year? Because if that's the case, he's not gonna be good, right? Not good. He's just gonna be okay. At best, he will get to the playoffs and win a playoff game. And that is also contingent on lots of other people being bad, right?
But doesn't that, like, to me, if you're the Giants 2 years ago, the last time Daniel Jones was healthy.
Is that the same roster?
Offensively, yeah. They had Saquon 2 years ago when you're hoping that Malik Nabers can give you that kind of 1,300 yards. Saquon gave you 1,300. You're hoping Malik can give it to you differently. The reason I'm cool with it is because JJ and Bo Nix and Penix should not go number 6 overall. They just shouldn't. They can't go 6 overall.
But Penix went 8th overall.
He went 8th overall, and he's not going to play immediately. Because, like what y'all are saying, Shady, if you don't believe in rookies, and if the expectation can't be high on rookies, then if the Giants would have acquired a rookie to do what? To throw away this year anyway.
I mean, but you're still getting better, though, right? Because, like, you look for the future. Like, when I look at this is why I said they should draft a rookie, because what's Daniel Jones? What is that? I watch him play. They manage the game like he's a rookie. They don't want to throw the ball too much. They don't want to throw deep too much. They want to run the ball, RPOs with him because they treat him like a rookie. So if you don't give a veteran quarterback all this money, right, and you're going to play their veteran quarterback as a rookie, give him a rookie type of game plan, why not go out there and get you a potential rookie that has some talent that potentially could take your team eventually?
Can we air some a dirty secret? Can we just speak plainly? The Giants aren't trying to get to the playoffs right now. Like, they're not a team to be taken seriously, in my opinion anyway, right now, regardless of what they had done. Whether it was a quarterback or a receiver, they're not a factor in this race. So what would you rather have? Would you rather have a quarterback who has no help, who's going to get the hell beat out of him probably this year in a non-winning season? Or would you agree a stud receiver like Malik Nabers, if he's good, can go crazy he can have a good rookie season even if it's Daniel Jones and Drew Lock? Would you rather have a quarterback getting beat to hell or a receiver and maybe some additional skill players that the Giants draft who will get ready for next year when they make their move? Because I'm comfortable saying right now they will move on from Daniel Jones in 2025, and whether it's a free agent or you try again in the draft, you get your receiver next year, and the Giants will be a more complete roster ready to compete then.
I can get with that. Just don't talk to me about what they're going to do this year.
No, I don't plan on it. I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to check in on Malik and be like, oh, is he good?
I'm only having serious conversations in 2024, so I'm not going to participate in that.
But you even say Giants could do what they did 2 years ago.
This year?
If Daniel Jones comes back
Everybody
healthy as
can't
hell,
make the playoffs, Emmanuel. We got to draw the line somewhere. Like, everybody's making the playoffs?
I think the Giants could win 9.
it's hard to see. If Daniel Jones comes back and he's great, I mean, Brian Dable, I still think is a really good coach.
Good coach.
I can see it, but I wouldn't call it realistic.
Everybody can't make the playoffs.
No,
Everybody
I
from the
don't think.
AFC North or NFC North that can't make the playoffs, and this division, NFC East. Like, there's only so many playoffs.
Can we also,
spots.
as long as I'm being blunt and mean, can we admit, like, the Giants getting there in the first place was an aberration? Like, that was taking advantage of a weak schedule and just lightning in a bottle.
But the
that
Giants,
was not
but also I would say the Giants picking at number 6 was as well. Because if Daniel Jones stays healthy the whole
really beat
season,
up, yeah.
correct. If
But
their
they
team stays
were
healthy-
also bad at the beginning of the season before any of that stuff happened.
That's true, but I trust Brian Dable. Brian Dable's just good.
He is
good.
He's good, but he's not
dude is
Jesus.
crazy.
Like, there's limitations here. Like,
True, but think about
he
won a playoff
made
game.
wine out of a rock with the Daniel Jones situation. Like, it's not to be blasphemous here, but like, he did a lot.
He did.
Like, I don't want to get crazy with what we expect from Dable, which is why I really want to see him with somebody that has the talent that he can craft.
I guess most importantly, I trust Dable to have made the right decision. I trust Dable to have made the right decision.
Then yes, I can get with you.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.